Y'all, welcome to Late Night with Bridget and Holly. I'm your host, Holly.
And I'm your host, Bridget.
And y'all, tonight we have got a funny podcast for y'all. But before we start, make sure if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell so you'll be notified every Tuesday, every Friday when new episodes drop at 11 p.m. sharp. Also, we're on pretty much any podcast station you can think of. If you don't find us on there, email us at Bridget and Holly at gmail.com, and Bridget will make sure that we will be available for you guys. So tonight, our podcast is about first date disasters. And y'all, frankly, I'm gonna be a little honest. I like hands down, I was like, dang, maybe I could share one of mine. I've never had a first date disaster. Have
Mm.
you had a first date disaster?
Mm-hmm.
Did you write it down?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No, I
so
didn't.
I want you to, if you don't mind, I would like to hear that before we tell, because I don't have one for myself. I would love, Bessie, to know what your first date disaster was.
I don't even know if you'd call it a date, but I know there was a guy that I was still dating my first true love, Brian, and this guy, which I can say his name now because he's passed away, but his name was Rusty, and he used to come into Spencer's all the time,
That was
and
my dad's nickname, Rusty.
well, listen. So he kept coming into Spencer's and
Oh,
flirting with me. I mean, I was dating somebody else, and he would come into Spencer's and wrap his arms around my waist and squeeze my stomach to him, and I would and put his head over my shoulder, and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" And he would and at that age, it was just I would laugh because I thought it was funny, and of course, you're a young teenage girl, you like the attention,
right.
but I also knew it was wrong because I was dating somebody, so I put him off and put him off and put him off. But anyhow, my first true love, he was very, very jealous of this guy. And so me and my first true love broke up. So what do I do? But decide to call this dude and say, "Hey, I'm no longer dating. Da 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 da. Would you let do you want to go? Yeah, I want to go out." And I did it mainly to make my first true love jealous because we'd been broke up for about 2 weeks. I kept trying to get back with him. He didn't want to take me back. But
Oh no.
come to find out later, it was in his plan to make me wait about 2 to 3 weeks. He said 2 weeks. He said, I was going to make you wait 2 weeks and I wanted to get back together. But within that 2 weeks, due to my impatience and trying to make him jealous, I went out with this guy, Rusty.
Oh God.
Well, we go out. He really didn't take me anywhere. We just kind of went out riding around, talking, da da da. And he takes me down to this one place, and we're kind of overlooking the water. And he starts coming on to me. This dude tried to rape me first date.
Jesus Christ.
That was a disaster. And I was like, just stop, just take me back, take me back. And he told me,
Right.
he said, how about I tell you to get out here and walk if you don't put out? And I said, okay, fine. I guess I'll walk. And so I get ready to start walking, and he pulls up and he says, just get in the damn car. He takes me back. I'm bawling. I go straight to my first true love's house, bawling and crying. He was still at work. I talked to his brother. I told his brother everything. And then I ended up going home because that was curfew time. I had to get home. He ends up telling him that I went out with the guy, and he's like, well, yeah, I was going to ask her back out in 2 weeks, but forget it. We're done for good now. He was so mad.
Oh God. And do you know, you saying that just triggered, I did have a first date that was bad. And it
Oh,
was
no.
with not my husband, but I went out with this guy named Jason. That's so funny. And we live in the same area. We knew the same people. I thought it was okay. And we were coming home, and we were coming I forgot where we were coming from. We went to this restaurant, and we're coming home through the country, and he starts slowing down and literally tells me to put out. Or no, he said, do you know where we're at? And I was like, no. I was like, but I know we're close, to home. We're somewhere in the country. And he started slowing down. And he said, you know what? He said, you can put out or get out. And he stopped the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, excuse me? And I was so scared. Long story short, my best friend
You
Heather,
put out so you didn't have to walk? I'm just
nah,
kidding.
hell no. But my best friend Heather, knows this guy,
Oh Lord.
and she cannot stand him for that fact. And my other best friend Tammy, her boyfriend, well, her Heather's boyfriend, that's how Heather knows him, and that's how Tammy don't know him, but her boyfriend knows him because they all kind of ran in the same circle and grew up. And when I tell you, oh honey, they was pissed at this
Mhm.
guy. Like,
Mhm.
Heather can't even be around him, and he knows that she does not like him for that fact.
Mm. It's bad. That's bad. That's a very bad first date. Really,
It
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 really is.
really is. Like, I can't believe. I guess I blocked it out, but I can't believe that I didn't remember that. Like that's weird. And when you said put out or get out,
Yeah.
it triggered it. It's
Yeah.
weird. I guess I suppressed it kind of.
Yeah. You can do that. You can do that. Well, I never suppressed it. I remembered it strongly, and I
Yeah,
thought to myself, what guy would think that that would be an attractive first date? You know what I'm saying?
exactly. Put out or get out. Really,
But he
bitch.
still he still tried to call me and talk to me after that for a while, and I
Oh my
didn't
god.
I didn't hate him because he turned it into a whole joke. I mean, I didn't like him, but I didn't hate him because he turned it into a whole joke. Like, you really thought I was serious, didn't you? I knew he was, but he was
Same. Yep.
trying to dumb it down. You know.
Same with that one. Started laughing and da 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 da. Yeah, whatever. Whatever, you pig fucking looking bitch. Sorry.
So there's
Hope
our
you're
first
watching
date.
this podcast.
Well, mine can the one that I'm talking about can't because he's dead. So.
Oh, Lord rest his soul.
Maybe. Okay, so anyhow. Okay, so go ahead. You go ahead or you want me to go ahead? You want to go ahead? I go ahead.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so here you go. So, a girl says that she went on a date with a man through a dating app. Okay, and she quickly found out he lied about his age. He was honestly about 10 years older than her. You know what I'm saying? And he was recently divorced. So he ended up taking her to a gentleman's club 30 minutes
Oh,
away. And he kept telling her, he said, "Oh, you're like a sister to me." While he was stroking her legs. Can you believe that?
oh,
She said, "I thought it was just an
ew.
awesome." She said, "I thought I was having an awesome time seeing strippers with him." Anyhow, after the show, he drove his truck. He drove them back drunk, speeding in his convertible, and messaging other women on the dating app while driving. He ended the night by saying, "So I'll be hearing from you again because I'm such a cool guy and dates with me are the best." She
Fuck
got
you,
out,
buddy.
she got out of the car and she said, "I don't think so."
First of all, I'm just saying, bitch, he was dumb to get in the car while he was drinking.
No, no,
First of
no.
all,
They did. He wasn't drinking, but he had drank at the club, at the gentleman's club, and started driving her home drunk. Oh, you mean from the club? Her getting in the car?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why get in the car with somebody drunk anyway? Especially on a, not especially on a first date, but that's your first impression. They're gonna put your life in danger by getting behind the wheel drunk.
Listen, you can't
Uh.
drive. You can't drive me drunk until the date number 5. Okay.
Right, yeah. Now, if I'm drunk and you sober, yeah, but if you both drunk, no. Don't get your ass in that car.
Yeah, and young
Um,
young ladies, listen to me. Never get in the car with anybody drinking and
nope,
driving. Not even
nope.
just a little bit.
And you don't do it yourself either. Do
That's
not
right.
drink and drive, or guess what? We're gonna beat your ass.
That's right. That's
Or they're
right.
gonna be scraping you off the road.
That's right. That's right.
Um, okay, here's one. Y'all, this is fucking crazy. I was hanging out with a guy I met through a mutual friend. We got ice cream and went back to sit in his car to listen to music. While we ate the ice cream, he shared his taste in music with me while rubbing my head and playing with my hair. I didn't quite know how to feel, but I figured he was trying to be romantic. Not too long after this, he got to the bottom of his ice cream cone. You know, the kinds that have like the chocolate on the inside at the very bottom
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he said this he said this is your asshole. He then tried to show off his rimming skills. I guess maybe he thought the chocolate would be cute.
That's so gross.
That's horrible. Man, don't do that shit. Ain't nobody want you to eat their asshole out. And don't demonstrate it on an ice cream cone.
Right. If you're gonna eat ass, listen, you don't have to show us how you gonna do it. Just do it.
Exactly.
Just do it. You don't
Exactly.
have to show me how, just do it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that would have been the last date for me.
Yep, hell no.
Yep. Yep. So anyhow, this girl says she talks about this guy coming and picked her up on his motorcycle. Now, isn't a man on a motorcycle so attractive? You know what I'm saying?
Especially I got like a beard and muscles and stuff. Yeah.
So he didn't take her on a date. He took her back to his place, but he pulled up to a shed that was sitting by a house so she could get off. And she was thinking, he's just going to pull it and store his bike in there, right? The shed was his house. This sounds like this is a horror story, don't it? Like the worst date.
Hell yeah.
She said it was like feeling like it was a near death experience. Anyhow, she invited him in, and there was only one place to sit, a recliner. And he sat down in the recliner. He didn't even offer her to sit down. And then he said, "You want to sit on my lap?" She said, "I just said no, thank you." And so she chose to sit on a crate. He shared his airplane bottle of mouthwash flavored vodka with her. Okay.
Oh.
And then 15 minutes later, he wanted to kiss her. She said, "I really had to pee." So he took me to the house because there was no bathroom in the shed, took me to the house to pee, which turned out to be his mom's.
Oh.
She was watching TV on the couch when she went to the bathroom, and he ushered her over to sit down and chat with his mother. And
Oh my
then
God.
she said, "I just had to request going home after that." She said, "The next day I texted something saying that I felt we were incompatible. And he texted back and said, 'You're lost.'"
Why? Boo boo. No, no, no. No, that was not her loss. That was a very smart move. God, that's just creepy just in general. Like,
I know.
ew.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
this one is kind of like the one that you talked about before a little bit, kind of same scenario almost, but a little bit without the drinking. So, this girl went on a Tinder date to the movies with this guy. He picked her up in his truck and played terrible, loud, depressing music. In the theater, he was on his phone swiping through Tinder the entire time. Then leaned over and told me that I was lucky to be out with him because all those other girls wanted to be with him. She said my roommate picked me up when I excused myself to go to the bathroom and she left. He didn't even know.
Unbelievable. Uh-uh.
Yep, I was like, you go, girl.
I always told my daughter, I said, if you ever go on a date that's just you want to get out of, text me some kind of code word. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want some lemonade. I would really love some lemonade right now. And I'll know that it's time for me to call and say, "Girl, listen, something's come up and you got to get home."
Yeah, exactly. You always want a key code word.
Yeah, you want to have your best friend, your mom, your sister, your aunt, your cousin, somebody that you
Silly,
can throw a
whatever,
code,
yeah.
yeah, code work at that they know it's time to get her out of that situation. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
That's a
Really?
smart thing to do too.
Yes.
Whether you hitting it off or whether you feel in danger, have that code word. Have
Yes.
that person.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Is it my turn?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Um so anyhow, she said a friend of hers had fixed her up on a blind date with her newly single cousin. Okay. She claimed that he
Okay.
would be perfect for her. So they met at a pub that was about 2 hours away, and he talked about nothing but himself the whole time: his life, his job, his work routine, his political
Conceited.
opinions, so on. He never asked her a single question, and she couldn't get a word in edgewise. Whenever she did try to speak, he held up his hand like, "Don't talk yet."
Oh.
The last thing he said to me was, "Anyway, are we going back to my place or yours?" And she was so annoyed and disgusted with his arrogance. She said, "Excuse me," and walked out. She said, "I've never spoken to him since, and I've never spoken to that friend since, because why would she think that that man was perfect for me?"
Exactly. He's rude, he's arrogant, and he's conceited, and he's an asshole and a dick.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish you would put your hand up to me, bitch. You get sucker punched in the fucking balls.
Yeah, here's how fired up that got her. It's like, don't talk to the hand.
I mean, I ain't lying. Like, shoot, I mean, it takes everything me not to punch Jason in the balls when he don't take the trash out. But I refrain. I
I'm gonna call him
refrain.
out. I'm gonna call him up and say, Jason, I got one for you. Next time she fusses at you about taking the trash out, just put your hand up. Ooh.
Right in the kisser.
That'll do
Right in the
it.
kisser.
That'll do it.
Um, okay, this one is funny. Okay, and this is just crazy. All right, so this is a guy who met a girl at work, and they decided to get drinks the next night. She then brought to the date. She brought her mom and her aunt to meet me. FaceTimed her kid to introduce me. Started freestyle rapping. Then told me how her baby daddy stabbed the last guy she dated.
Oh God.
Run, motherfucker, run.
Why would you disclose that information if you did something like that? Why would you even
Yeah. Do
you
you think
trying
that
to
that's not going to scare him away? Like, damn, if I piss her off, is he going to come after me?
exactly. Exactly. Well, have you ever heard on TikTok there's a guy called Zagar? Zakir. And I think
Uh-uh.
he's like I don't know if he's Iranian. He's a foreigner, and that's where therefore the name. But he talks about these first date disasters, and he had one. I didn't write him down on here just because I remembered the story by heart, but I want to tell you this. So he says he was on these dating apps, started talking to this girl. They were hitting it off great. He said they talked for a month, and he said they established a really good connection.
Wow.
And she had set up to meet him, and she said, he said, "Do you want me to pick you up?" She's like, "No, no, no. I'll just meet you at the restaurant." He's like, "Okay, great." So he goes and he's at the restaurant and he's there and he goes ahead and he orders some, appetizers and stuff like that when she gets there. And he said, and in comes she's walking. He said she walked around the corner. He sees her and he stands up wave because they exchanged pictures. You know what I'm saying? And
Uh-huh.
he said trailing behind her was her father and her mother.
Bitch, it's a first date. What the fuck are you doing?
So listen, he said he goes ahead and tries to just suck it up and just accommodate it because he really did like her. But he's thinking the whole time about the mom and dad. So they give him interview type questions, what's your job? How much do you make a year? Da da da, all these things, like giving him the third degree. He says he gets to end the day, that he gets the check. He said he went ahead and paid for everybody's meal, not just hers. He went ahead and cordially paid for the dad's meal, the mom's meal, everybody's meal. Right? And he says at the end of the day, after he pays for the check, leaves the tip, he looks at her and he says, "Will I be seeing you again?" She looks directly over at her mom and dad, and the dad says, "Absolutely not. You're not good enough for my daughter. This is your last day."
What?
And they left. And he looks at her and she just says, "Sorry, bye." And she leaves. And I think it was because of their culture. That's the reason I made a point to say I don't know whether he's Iranian. I can't remember what he was. But I think it was in their culture to do like arranged type marriages or that the parents had to approve.
Oh, yeah,
So, yeah, but he was like, "We're in America, so, we don't have to do that here." You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
yeah, but
That's
he has,
crazy.
would you not? Like, if you were sitting there, I mean, I'm just being for real. If you were sitting there and you were waiting on Jason and he walks in with his mom and his dad, how are you
I would
feeling
be
about that?
like, bruh, you just meet me. I ain't ready to meet your parents. Uh-uh. No,
I
no, not
know.
too soon.
Yeah,
Too
it's way
soon.
too.
I don't even know if I'm like you,
That's
let
right.
alone your fucking parents.
Amen. Amen.
God, that's crazy.
Ain't it?
Yes. Oh,
That's
is
wicked.
that going to be your one, or did you
Yeah,
want?
that's my one. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
This
said
one
it.
is a
She's looking at me
little.
like, "What you gonna say now?"
No, because I thought I was okay if you wanted to do another one. I thought you were just remembering that because that was very intriguing, and interesting.
No.
Um, okay, so uh this guy, it's about a guy and a girl. He said, I took this girl out on a date and everything was going so smooth, so perfect. We really hit it off and had so much in common. So we head to the Olive Garden to get a bite to eat. And the entire time, the conversation was flowing like red wine. We get to the end of the meal and she asked, could she order a takeout plate? I thought for a minute, oh, that's a little odd, but brushed it off. She She gets her to-go bag. We get in the car and I drive her home. After a few minutes of being in the car, her phone rings. She answers quickly and says, "Yes, I got it. Yes, honey. I told them extra breadsticks. I'm almost home. I love you too." I'm thinking, oh, how sweet. She must have a kid. She then says, "Sorry about that. That was my husband. He only lets me see other people if he can get a free meal out of it."
The fuck?
What the fuck? So what if he would have said no, first of all, and said, "No, you can't bring a doggy bag home"? Then what's going to happen when she promised her husband a free meal and he let her go out? Like,
They must
oh
have
my
it. They must
gosh.
have it down to an art how to do that. And I guess she knows that first dates that most of the time people don't want to look like an asshole, so they go ahead and accommodate and buy. You know what I'm
Yes, because
saying?
the first impressions are everything. When I
That's
tell you, Bridget,
fucked up. You know
I
what that
laughed
reminded
so
me of
hard
that
at this story.
story? You want to know what that reminded me of that story?
What?
You're like me. You love the King of Queens, so I know you saw this episode. Do you remember when Carrie went out with the cop to get out of the ticket and Doug was okay with it?
Yes, yes, God. I forgot about that episode.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God, that was so funny, y'all. If you ain't watched King of Queens, which I'm sure you have, y'all gotta watch it.
That
Doug
was
and
funny.
Gary, Doug and
Doug and
Gary, Doug
Carrie,
and
Doug and
Gary.
Carrie. Arthur, Arthur, Arthur.
Arthur, Arthur, I love it.
Okay, there was a girl said upon picking me up for a date, this guy told her they needed to go somewhere first before they could go on the date. He had to make a pit stop. Okay,
Okay.
so they pull up at the psychic place.
Oh
She thought it was
shit.
strange. She thought, well, maybe this is kind of cute. He wants to do a reading for us. So they get out and to get a reading, and the reader says that they're not a good couple and they're not going to last. And
Ooh.
she was like shocked, and he was too. She said, but then he gets and he puts her in the car, and they proceed, and she thinks they're going to finish the date, but they're going back towards her house. And she says, "Where are we going?" Okay. She said,
Oh,
"I'm taking you home." He said, "The psychic said we wasn't going to last, so I'm not going to waste my money."
burn.
The fuck?
Wow. Oh,
I
I know
I
that would have
wouldn't
had to hurt and be fucking
I wouldn't put that much
embarrassing.
faith. I wouldn't put that much faith in a psychic. He might have just ended his soulmate.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, no, no,
He
no, no,
don't
no.
know. That's
God,
fucked
that's
up, ain't it?
fucked up. Yes. Okay, this is my last one. And then, God, how does this shit happen to some people? This guy and I went on a date, dinner, movie, a nice stroll on the beach. We get to the end of the day. We get to the end of the date. He drives me home and walks me to my door. He tucks my hair behind my ear and leans in to kiss me. But before he does, he whispers in my ear, "Don't don't be alarmed if my tooth falls out in your mouth when I kiss you. It's been loose all night and I forgot my fix-a-dent glue." Mic drop. What the fuck?
Then don't kiss me, motherfucker. Okay?
Exactly. Why
Because
would you even tell that?
here's the number one thing. When we go on a date, I'm gonna keep my teeth in my mouth. You better keep yours in your mouth. Okay? Just because we kiss don't mean
Exactly.
your teeth.
Like, if you found it loose, then because it is a first date, at least just peck her on the lips or peck her on the cheek. But don't go sticking your fucking tongue and your falling out tooth in her mouth. That's disgusting.
How funny.
Disgusting.
How funny. How funny.
Yes. Ugh.
I was trying to get you one more just to end on a let's see. Uh okay, so here's one. It says this girl says she went on the first date with this guy, and it seemed like he ordered one of everything on the menu.
Oh,
You know,
damn.
he bought one of everything just about. When the check came, he went through the whole I forgot my wallet. He said if
Oh, God.
he said if you'll pay for it, I will pay you back. So we were driving to my house and I mentioned him paying me back and he said, "Yeah, I'll catch you on the next date." I told him I didn't think there'd be a next date because I'm not feeling it. And he said to me, "Well, if that's the case, then there's no use in paying you back."
Oh, I'd love to know how much that damn bill was.
I don't know. I wish they would have told that too.
I know one of everything you know that motherfucker was like over $100 or $200.
Exactly. But I'm going to ask you a question. If you went on a date like that as your first date and they went through the whole I forgot my wallet, I think I'd tell the waiter, then we're going to go Dutch. I'll pay for mine. And I don't know what the fuck you're going to do.
That's exactly what I would have done. I'd be like, you better get your ass back there and start washing dishes because I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying
Yep.
for my meal. And bitch, you can't make me pay for yours because I don't know you from Adam and Eve. Fuck you. You on your
But
own.
see, in today's world, I just don't, I know how long ago that wouldn't fly with me because you got Apple Pay.
No.
You got Apple Pay. You got all these apps
You
where you
got
can
Cash
pay.
App, PayPal, Zelle,
Yep.
bitch. You got it. You got
Yeah, I'll
you
pay
got
it.
it.
You sell me the money and I'll pay it. You cash
Yeah,
out
I
me the
mean,
money and I'll pay
that's one hell of a date. Like that's a cheapskate bastard right there.
it.
Cheapskate bastard. Y'all, we hope y'all
Oh,
have
wait a minute, wait a
enjoyed
minute. Hold
this.
on, hold on,
Oh,
hold on. Before you end it, I want to ask you a question. We talked about all these shitty dates. I want to hear yours and Jason's first date.
oh, mine and Jason's first date. Okay, so mine and Jason's first date, he came down and we went to Lone Star. And we sat in the parking lot before we went in. And I'll never forget, I had my hair cut in like this cute little bob look. My bangs were
Oh,
feathered. I on a white t-shirt, scoop neck with little short black shorts. He was smelling good, blue jean shorts, nice polo shirt. And I'll never forget, we were standing outside the car. And he come around and opened the door for me and shut it. And I was leaning up the car and he put his arms around me and gave me a kiss. Nothing like dramatic, just a soft, like just passionate kiss. And he looked me in the face. He said, "I'm gonna marry you."
really?
Yep. And we're married. 14 years later.
Oh, that's so cute.
We had a good like. I still have that outfit to this day. I'll never get rid of it. I'll
Oh,
never get rid of
isn't
it
it funny
because
how like things like that can, like what you said earlier, you block that bad experience out, or your mind blocked that bad experience out. But something, a good memory like that, like you can remember down to the way y'all smelled, the way you were
every
dressed,
detail.
every
And
detail.
and I felt so safe in his arms. I'll never ever forget because it was the way he wrapped his arms around me. It wasn't like a bear hug or nothing. It was like he wrapped them around my waist,
Yeah,
around my waist towards my back.
yeah.
And that was the first time that I've ever felt like I makes you want to like tear up. Uh, but that was like the first time that like a man's ever made me feel safe. Like
Oh,
and I'm still like that with him now. Like, even though me and JoJo go a lot of places together and stuff, like, when he is with us, I'm not on guard. I don't have to look around and watch my every move because I know he's protecting me from it.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. That's the way I feel. Ain't that sweet?
Sorry.
So me and Mr. Ronnie had two first dates, and
I was just
I'm gonna
about to ask you about you, Mr. Ronnie.
yeah, two first dates. And the reason I'll tell you our first date and the first time we got together, and then I'll tell you our first official date. So, as most of y'all know, he used to be my best friend's husband. Okay, she left him for his best friend, and he was alone. And at the same time, my husband, the same week, my husband left me for a girl he worked with. This is why I say God had a hand in me and him being together,
Right. He definitely had a
because
plan.
that was too coincidental. You know what I'm saying?
Uh huh.
So he calls me up and he asked me it was like 11 o'clock at night, and everybody that had been left was checking on each other. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? So at 11 o'clock at night, when I get the phone call, I thought he was just going to say, well, how was your day? How was you doing? He literally says, he's like, I want you to come see me. I want you to come down here. And I'm like, what? Why? I thought he was calling me for his cousin Drew or his nephew Drew. Okay.
Oh.
So I end up going down there and we spent some time together. That night we ended up hooking up. Our first night together, we hooked up. Okay.
Legs
Yes.
have been spreaded.
And I will tell you, it was amazing. It was amazing. And so then I left. I left the next morning thinking that was it. I thought it
You
was
just
just
thought it
going to
was a
be
little booty call.
that's all I thought it was. I really did. And I actually left feeling okay with that. Like, if that's all it was, it's no big deal. I am going to have to tell Shelly. I didn't want her hearing it from anybody else, and I knew she'd probably be pissed. I was willing to face all those consequences.
Right.
And so, I ended up driving home, coming home, and anyhow, it was like that evening or that afternoon. It's probably 2 or 3 in the afternoon because I got up about 8 or 9 and left that morning. And I get a phone call from him, and he says, "What do you say? I want you to get dressed, get ready, get your babysitter. I want to take you out to dinner and a movie and take you out on a proper date." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Really?" And he said, "Yeah." I was like, "Really?" So then ends up I got my husband that left me at the time, I got his sister to watch my kids because those were her nephews.
right.
And she knew I was going on a date and she was fine with it because she knew we had split up. And so ends up she watched the kids. He come pick me up. Like you said, he smelt good, he looked good. I was dressed up. And we went to see Men in Black. I think it was Men in Black. I don't know if it was the original one or two. I don't remember. But we went to Red Lobster and we went to see Men in Black and went.
Oh,
And when he left me that night, he was like, "I really do like you," and I said, "I really do like you too." So, we'd known each other for years, but I did. I had to call my best friend Shelly, and I had to say, I want you to learn it from me, so you don't hear it from somebody else." But I did go out with Ronnie, and she's like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, her response was, "I guess I can't be mad because I did the same thing." So,
right.
hmm
Exactly.
but we've been together ever
Oh,
since.
I know, and then that was history, y'all. That
It
was
was
history.
history.
Y'all share in the comments. Tell us your. Do you have a disastrous date? Do you have a really good, first date? Like share that with us. We would
Yeah.
love to know, some of your experiences in the dating world
And we
and
told you a lot
stuff.
of shitty dates, so I wanted to end it on a good note.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did that. I wasn't even thinking about asking about like our first dates and stuff like that, like a good date. But
Yeah.
yeah, we would love to hear that. And yeah, just to let you know, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget, we're on any and every podcast station. We're trying to get 3 new series off the ground. If you want to email us at Bridget and Holly, at gmail.com, settle the argument, confessions, and settle, yeah, and ask Bridget and Holly. Yeah,
Yeah.
did I do it right this time? Oh, yeah, we ain't gonna say it's been a couple more times because y'all just ain't budging on it. We just gonna try something else and start something new. But if y'all are interested in it, email us at that. We have had fun with this podcast tonight. We hope y'all enjoyed it. And on that note, we love you guys and y'all have a good night. Until next time,
Bye.
bye.